Thanks for staying with us. So a British journalist and presenter has criticized the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, for visiting Nigeria. The couple visited Nigeria to celebrate the Invictus Games, Harry's tournament for wounded soldiers in Nigeria. However, the visit has faced criticisms from British journalists and royal supporters. According to him, this is not a country that should be endorsed by anyone, certainly not our royal family. And these two are naive in what they're doing. They are making this country look good when it doesn't deserve it. Of course, Nigerians were not finding that statement very funny because many went online and tagged the presenters in different ways. And some agreed that he has not lied. Others said what he said is totally false because it was overgeneralization. Others said, even though you want to criticize us, we would rather criticize ourselves. Don't criticize us. What are your own thoughts? And what do you think about the visit in a nutshell? You can call us on 081 0764 1679, 0902 4163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can retweet. I also read that the king wasn't also happy that he criticized. He was seen to be upset about their trip. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, what was the problem? Was it the trip or the reception? Because from the articles I read, it was like they were more upset of the reception than the actual trip. What are your own thoughts on the entire trip? The comments by the media guys, I don't know which one wants to go first, either the comments by the journalists or the trip to Nigeria or the reception. Which one do you want to go with?
Who wants to go first?
I feel like I'm of the opinion that the reception was very grand. The reception was a reception for like the royal family. That's the reception. That was the way I felt concerning the way it was trending, the governor, the president, all of the ceremony. It felt like, oh, we are receiving the royal family, and we know that the royal family had publicly disengaged from them. So I know that the royal family might feel funny about the way they were received, like they were representing them. I also feel there's a little bit of beef because they didn't expect they would still be relevant even after the falling out with the royal family. So, but for my own personal opinion concerning the visit, I felt like it was like there was too much pomp and pageantry over. Like, they are just visiting, they're not bringing business. It's not like their presence is going to improve our economy. So what exactly is the feferity all about? That was my... But
why can you mention the same thing too?
Oh, I felt it was just so much feferity on, let us appreciate ourselves. Like, we have a lot of important people as a country that for us to be doing this much of ceremony to welcome, they're not royalty again, no. They're not business people. They're not coming to invest in Nigeria. So we'll talk about the Oyinbo,
they are royalty by blood now.
Okay. I want to jump in.
So what are they bringing to the table? I guess so. There's Prince Harry founded the Invictus Games, and what that does is that soldiers who've been wounded during service are involved in these games. So it's like an Olympics for wounded soldiers, wounded servicemen and women. Huge. And we know that, and I've watched a documentary, on the Invictus, on what he's done with a lot of these wounded soldiers across the world, and they are grateful for it. Because for a lot of them, they said that, while in service, the constant training, the going to war and then you are now injured and then your life stops. And it's a huge mental health issue for most of them. But now to have the Invictus Games, something to train towards, something to be part of, something to be appreciated and acknowledged for, it's a big deal. We always talk about how soldiers who have sacrificed everything and their lives, but for those who are injured, what do we do with them here in Nigeria? So he was bringing that brand to Nigeria and saying Nigeria will now be one of the countries that will be part of this. He visited the soldiers, injured soldiers, and also he met with, I think, a school, and this also was like a mental health awareness journey. So that was what they brought. The pomp and pageantry, I don't think there was too much of it if you look at it critically. Because the way we would welcome, like King, we would line up our children on the streets, they'll be waving flags. I'm just saying, what we saw groups, apart from they were coming to see the national security, defense, please, someone should remind me. And that body received them. No. That body received them because they are the ones in charge of the military and the wounded soldiers. So they received them, they gave them a picture of him and his mom when he was small. So I think that one was okay. Then we have private individuals that also received them elegantly because that's how we are, Nigerians.
Yes.
We're very hospitable people.
Yes, we are.
We do not do anything out of the ordinary. Have you come for our Owambe's? When we are doing birthday of a 5-year-old, are you trying us?
What are you talking about?
So then we now have, apart from that, then there's the angle of the fact that she found out that she's 43% Nigerian.
So
it was like coming home of a daughter. Now, having said that, we are not naive that there's no political issue that may come from, that we haven't heard about. We know their fallouts with the royal family. We understand all that has happened. But I feel that that's what gave it the coloration that everyone is seeing. It wasn't, there was nothing that we did out of the ordinary. It's just because the royal family is not in good relationship with them that they feel bad about it.
Okay, I get
now,
that.
They have named just one last thing. Prince William, his older brother, and his wife had traveled to an African country. Was it South Africa and one other country? Their own trip was not as successful. It did not look good. Here he was carried on top of a thing and we had blacks carrying him on that thing, like in the days of slavery. We did not like it. In this particular trip, we saw Harry and his wife mingling with everybody. He was playing with the injured soldiers. They had this fence that our black children were using their hand through the fence to greet them while they were on the other side. So a lot of the things that even their people noticed, like, this is different. These ones are more like their mother, Prince Diana, And Nigerians were welcoming of that. So I think it was just beef. They're just angry that Nigerians are hospitable.
You have finally finished everything, but I like how you started explaining what he came to do. He actually brought value. For anyone who's asking a question, what does he bring into the table? We've always talked about how some of our fallen soldiers are abandoned. They are left there, and now they have something to look forward to. That's a huge value that he was bringing to the table, and we definitely welcome him. I watched the series, The Crown. So I practically understand everything that's going on in the mind of the royals right now. They are seeing this as, we have disassociated ourselves from these people, but now they are going behind to carry out official duties. And that's where, looking like they are going behind to carry out official duties. And that's where the anger is coming from. And when you understand the royal family, at least what was depicted in that movie, The Crown, you see that once you are ostracized, everybody's supposed to abandon you. Nobody should talk to you, but they've forgotten that this is 2024. We are not a colony anymore, even though somehow...
But our respect for our own respect for you, our relationship with the UK, shouldn't we have even considered that?
No, we didn't do... it wasn't noisy. I didn't see... I wasn't halted on the road.
Many Nigerians said they were not aware.
They were not aware.
Until they started insulting us on their TV.
I wasn't aware that they were being welcomed. And I felt it was even too low for people like that. So it was shocking to me to hear that they're complaining, they welcome them. They are human beings as well. And these people came with a human face. I think the British royals need to take a cue to understand that the world is changing. They've had this issue over and over from time immemorial where one member of the family, usually the second son, would go for somebody else, and then they ostracize the people, and they've had that over and over. When are they going to stop it? It's a new era. We are in a new era now. Now, for the Okpokuzos that were on television, the broadcasters like us that cannot do research, they know nothing about any other country apart from their own. This is a new age. We cannot keep excusing your bad behavior. You people need to research other countries. Come out of your own cocoon. Don't just stay there and feel your country is the all and all, and then you pick up a topic and then you criticize what you know nothing about. They're talking about genital mutilation, a country where they are doing this one, they are doing that one. Have you talked about how people are knifed on the streets of your state, your biggest city? Like, it's not safe for people to just walk on the street. You can be knifed for no reason. You're not talking about that. You have other issues. You have infrastructural issues. issues in your cities. You're not talking about that. You just pick, because you heard something, you could not even, before coming on TV, to even research small. So you have an idea of the country you're talking about. But I think the beef was just too much on the Meghan and the Harry, and they passed it on. They forgot themselves and they passed it on to the public.
We're going to benefit from this. I mean, what the man said, yes, there's some truths.
What are the truths?
In what he said. He says that, yes, female genital mutilation in some communities, what is he overgeneralized? What he said, listen now, what he said is false, yes, but if you want to see it, we are here still debating in the National Assembly for gender equality. It hasn't been passed as of today, this morning. It's yet to be passed. So we have issues.
How does that concern him?
No, get my point. My point, I totally agree that he has no right to overgeneralize and overstate these issues. It's not his, number two, it's not his business. I totally agree. However, the point I'm trying to make, which made me lose my train of thought. Sorry. Is that, because let me always land.
No vex.
You know, so what I was trying to just say is that using the perception, so I like the fact that he said what he said, because it's a good PR for me.
That's the media.
Yes, it is a good PR for me. If Harry and Meghan come and say, no, I went there, and the numbers you're giving are wrong, they are false. This is what I saw. This is how I was received. I saw the communities. Yes, I know that you're having issues with gender equality. Because the PR I would have preferred to get from a Harry is to reverse or respond to these guys. Saying, I was there and it wasn't exactly as you are depicting it to have been.
If they do that, then to make it like they were on a royal visit. They want to put them in they will not do it. They came here for Invictus Games and they met the people they were supposed to meet.
Simple.
Those people in the media are ignorant. Let's take it. Because they are in the UK speaking English does not mean that they are more intelligent or they have better knowledge than we do.
Thank you.
You're obviously ignorant and you need to educate yourself. Simple and short. Yes, we have issues like your country does. Yes, we have genital mutilation issues, but have you read the data so far? How far we've fought this? How a lot of things have improved in the many years? They talk about our country is not a place to be visited. Their king has visited our country many times. So many times. I mean, we celebrated his birthday the last time. Your king, because it's the ignorance we're talking about, if they understand the importance of the relationship between Nigeria and Britain, they would have been careful with the sort of words that they were using. What I see, really, and this is the part that I want us to look at critically, is that there's this racism that is going on, and we must refuse it in all forms and all colors. For me, that girl, knowing that she's black, has gotten her a lot of bad media attention to the point that they said they pushed this girl to almost suicide because she's not white like them. And we know that. So that is a problem that their country is dealing with, racism. You people can color it anywhere and anyhow, but we know that, and we're not going to sit for that. We also understand that the media, especially this British media, we see how they'll carry a story, squeeze it, make it look like something that, flowery. When it comes to African stories, there's a way that they tell our stories. They depict us as if they are all brainless people. We don't have any form of intelligence. Yes. Even though day in, day out, you see stories of Nigerians and Africans doing amazing. But for them, they've already painted us with this brush. So nothing good can come out of here. And I think it's our place to educate them and point out their ignorance and lack of education and exposure. And that you're exposed to British this thing does not make you fully exposed. We have many Nigerian students, one even very recently, knifed in London. Our smart, intelligent children that can come back to our country and bring development. People will keep killing them up and down. Who has called you out on a media house and called your country names?
So bias is not something that there's no, you know, when you watch that interview, there was obvious bias from both parties, and there was obvious misinformation. There was obvious, there was an intention to suppress and denigrate the country. So my expectation would have been that, we would have a press release, an official press release addressing the things that were being said.
Who will? That's too much. That's too much attention.
You now make them.
Who will?
You now say that they're on a royal visit.
Because we are discussing. Not for
Meghan.
They were not talking about Meghan. They were talking about how could you visit this country? This country is
giving them too much regard.
It's too much. So for me, addressing the A, B, C, D, and E, you know, we've already come up to the conclusion that sometimes when you ignore, Your ignorance is, ignoring misinformation can spread misinformation. So when you ignore misinformation and you let it stay, somebody else will listen to it, and there was nothing contradictory. They believe it as the facts. But when you come back and when you demystify that misinformation, you are not defending yourself. You are correcting the ill. You are correcting the wrong. You are
silence is the best answer given to that.
But we're not silent.
We're no longer believing that.
But we're not silent.
Not all the time.
So I feel that what we are talking in our own way.
But you're saying the government should respond.
Yes.
I felt that it might be too much for a media house.
Even if it is not presidential. Even if it is not presidential. But it went viral.
We too will go viral. Nigerians will go viral.
Can I ask a question? If this was done by a media house in Kenya, would you be upset?
Another African country.
Another African country.
Doing this to us?
Saying
exactly about
They won't do this to us.
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, I'm just
an African media. So the reason why, the reason why I'm asking is because it seems as though the reason why we're really pained is because it's British.
No, I don't.
No, it's because it was lies.
So, because somebody said that, I mean, based on the comments I was saying, is it possible that if this was said by a South African media house or a Kenyan media house, Nigerians will respond to it as we did?
We'll still respond if they are lies.
Yes,
because they are lies, actually.
The response is...
Have you seen how we respond to South Africans on Twitter? Our response
is based on the fact that it was a misinformation and putting a wrong narrative out there, not based on the color. So, of course, we don't like the fact that it's not coming from a white person, but you are even going to say something. Say the facts. Oh, there are 1,000 people still getting mutilated. Let's this is what we're dealing with. We know.
Give us the
we're working on it. But just to generalize and make it look like this country, there is no peace, there's nothing going on. People, I was in UK and nobody was calling me that, hey, hold your bag very well, oh. They cut bag. I'm like, they steal bag. They
in Paris,
like,
yes.
They're telling us to hold my bag.
So, yes.
The thing is, you are also facing your own challenge.
Yes.
Don't make it look like Nigeria has been blacklisted. That even the US said that nobody should come to Nigeria. If they're coming, they should be careful. I'm, oh, wow.
But that's what we call beer parlor gist. That's why I don't want our government to be anyway involved in that particular video. That was just beer parlor, whatever it is that...
My pain is that we always look up to them and feel they are the best international... best international standard, the best practice, or however we used to call it. And then we see that these people actually do not know it. They do not do research. They just come out and they speak like they are gisting on the table. That tells us that we too need to do more work and we need to educate them. They need to be educated. They are so most of the time, they don't travel. They don't read. Once they get that information concerning their country, they run with it and there's nobody corresponding to say, okay, this is not it and this is not that. And they show that there. This is the 2024. 21st century, the year of knowledge. You cannot even quickly Google and see the status of Nigeria before you open your mouth and talk like that.
I said that I'd never heard of that particular media house. I don't know if you have. And the presenters themselves.
They're not
so the reason why they trended was because they were so negative. And it fed into the hate and negativity that has always been towards that, Harry and Meghan. And that's the only thing that made them trend. So our government cannot be involved with that level of ignorance.
Long and short.
We have to wrap up. Any comments on social media so we can wrap up on this?
Plenty comments.
Yeah, let's take a few before we wrap up.
Nigeria would respond, irrespective of if it was an African nation.
Even if it's Ghana.
South Africa, if it was any, all hell will break loose. Abilov says, I was talking to my white colleague and I was traveling to my home country with all enthusiasm and joy. She looked so surprised that I was traveling to Africa. So we need to change the narrative. The place says, they relate. Why will a Kenyan station say that about Nigeria? They probably wouldn't. Yeah. Someone says, it's a shame that a journalist would write like that or maybe speak like that. I am here and I can tell that they have limited knowledge of things. Working with them, I've seen how shocked they are about our intelligence, which is why you said generalization. Many of them are really, they're still looking at us like the way in the 1900s or 1950s. They don't understand the level of exposure and all of that we have here.
We all generally agree that that was the video that went viral did not depict the real Nigeria that we are trying to build and rebuild. And I think it was really wrong and immature of the journalists to say those things and overgeneralize, as we said earlier. But I think also that is an opportunity for us to also remind ourselves how we need to build our PR, how we need to rebuild the perception, sell ourselves, not just here in Nigeria, but outside the country. We have amazing Nigerians doing amazing things.
but there's a lot of toxicity on social media about us, to ourselves. So we say, oh, we can yab ourselves, but let nobody yab us. But see, guys, the more you yab yourselves, people are seeing it, they are reading about it. So you are complaining that they're insulting us, but listen, we also need to fix our houses. So I think it's feedback to all of us on how we can ensure that going forward, we need to change the perception of Nigeria. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.